What do you get someone who has everything? You get them shelves to organize their stuff. But if you love them, you might want to assemble this Workzone 4-shelf tall cabinet together for them. That's what this video is about. It shows my experience with putting together this Workzone cabinet. These are the instructions. I don't need that. Although that's because I've done this before. Initially, there was some difficulty in assembling these shelves. But despite that problem, there are two major features of this cabinet that I like. One, it's cheap. It was only $50 at Aldi. That sounds like a lot of money for plastic, but I was surprised to learn that cabinets can be expensive. Secondly, it's made in Italy. Isn't that awesome? Usually something like this is made in China. So let's get started. Those are the 4 shelves. They're black and they have a nice textured feeling. On the back you can see the Italian markings. And you can see the weight limit, 20 kilograms. That's 44 pounds. So these shelves are not for storing extremely heavy items. Before starting, I like to lay out all the pieces on the ground. That makes it easier to spot the side pieces versus the door pieces. One of the more dangerous parts in assembling this cabinet is separating these smaller pieces. It reminded me of a model car, where the little parts are shipped together in a plastic frame. Pulling the pieces apart, well, it was painful. One of the pieces suddenly snapped off and scraped one of my fingers. I'm surprised that blood wasn't gushing everywhere. Fortunately, there was no damage, but that hurt. Ouch. So be careful on this part. But speaking of blood, look at how red my thumbs got. Basically, these little legs get attached to the base. It's kinda cute, like a mini jigsaw puzzle. The problem is pushing the parts into place. I struggled to make everything flush. That little corner got stuck. So I had to wiggle the plastic a bit, but eventually it clicked. Now, this video is not a tutorial. It's more about highlighting the potential trouble spots of assembly. Here I'm just working from memory, putting the pieces together. The side pieces are snapped into place. There's a nice locking system, which does help with putting the shelves together. But the main reason this video is not a tutorial is this part. I added the shelves early. The shelves slide into the back slots and then snap into place in the front. So nice. That's different from the instructions, but I needed stability to add the back piece. This part might be easier with 2 people. One to slide the piece into the groove, and the other to laugh when it pops out. I'm kidding, but working as a team might help. The back panel is such a flimsy piece. It doesn't help that it was shipped tri-folded, and with the side panels flopping around, this is one of the most difficult parts of assembling the cabinets. That's the trade-off with cheap shelving. Overall, I liked the Workzone shelves, but this part was super tedious. Too bad the back of the cabinet isn't more sturdy. Once I got the back panel into all of the 3 grooves, I locked it down with the top piece. Well, it's actually the middle piece. That's what connects the bottom panel with the top panel. It was some more wiggling to do, but so satisfying once complete. The sides work in a similar fashion. There's a connection piece to extend the sides. Once again, it's just a matter of making things click. Then the upper side panels can be added. Just like last time, I'm adding the shelves early. It was easier to add the lower shelf first. So I moved the shelf down. It's tricky to rearrange the shelves after the cabinet is fully assembled. That's why I was careful with the placement of the shelves. I made them evenly spaced, alternating with the holes and the slots for the shelves. One empty, one shelf. One empty, one shelf, all the way up the cabinet. With that completed, it was another wrestling match with the back panel. I was able to successfully add the back panel to the cabinet, but I made a mistake. In my eagerness to lock down the back panel, I forgot about the doors. And while those clips are nice in assembling the cabinet, I couldn't easily separate the two parts. That's a problem in attaching the doors. Preparing the doors is similar to the side panels. The two parts are joined with a connector. The black strips are added to the top and the bottom of the doors. To solve the order problem, I gently bent the door into place. Plastic has some advantages. It obviously would have been better to connect the middle hinge first, but the problem was solved. Next, it was just a matter of repeating the same steps with the other door. This is a closer look at the black strips. It's nice how all of these parts snap together without tools. Oh, I forgot the top pieces. I'll just slap those on. It's all done, except screws. Tools are needed for this last part. That's how to attach the handles. You can't just screw in the handles either. This is the strangest part of the whole project. While there are circle highlights where the screws should go, there are no holes. The screws can't get through. Fortunately, I have this Greenworks drill. However, it is important to drill the correct holes. No, not that one, the other one. It's important not to mess this part up. It just felt wrong drilling into a plastic cabinet. I'm surprised that these holes weren't pre-drilled at the factory. I'm also surprised that the handles didn't snap into place like all of the other parts. But this was an opportunity to create one of the manliest sounds in the known universe. Ratcheting clicks. There, now the cabinets are done. The cabinets are pretty cool. They're nice for storing stuff. Like toys. Do you remember this robot? Such a good bot. The cabinet is also good for storing lightweight tools. Like the Vid Pro Skater Dolly. That was also a nice Photics TV video. I think these cabinets are better suited for light duty, but even lightweight items can cause trouble. These pillows and blankets were packed too tightly. When they would expand, the doors would be pushed open. The little plastic nubs holding the doors closed are finicky. Fortunately, there's a slot for a lock. These cabinets are not high security, but that's another way to help keep the doors shut. Anyway, that's all there is to it. Once the cabinet is complete, it doesn't do much. What am I going to do? Invite it to a party? So, in summary, if you have realistic expectations for the Workzone 4-shelf tall cabinet, then it might be alright. Despite some troubles with assembly, I think these cabinets are nice.